Good evening, mandibulise kumfundisi uNcombo, ndibulise kubobonke abantu abamameleyo nababukeleyo Wesley Guild SA. Unfortunately, we've been trying to connect nomfundisi kakhulu. There were serious technical issues, but here we are, and my name is very simply Dr. Tebelele, Umthembeni Gama. I will do the honors of introducing myself in the interest of time. And apologies for the late start. It's not due to me, it's due to the technical glitches that we experienced. I'm just waiting until we hit a decent number. I see 197. We are 112. Let me wait until we at least hit 200. Then I can get started. I hope Pule, you'll be able to pick up the questions as we go along. In Tebelele, we'll talk as much as we can. Asizubanjezelwa into technology engafuna unqamana. Isizayofika kule ndawo siya kuyo. As you come in, I'm waiting until we hit 200 people. Then we'll get going. 148, 155. 159. Let's get to 200 and then we get started. Can someone tell me, can you hear me properly? Just say yes. Thank you. 162. Welcome in. 168. Thank you for the feedback. Dear Vaindobani and Eve, I just wanted to make sure everyone can hear me clearly before I get started. Thank you for indications. I hope asizophelelwa data endleleni okanye asizophelelwa airtime. I think I can get started now. Ole, are you ready? If you are ready, I'm ready. I'll be moving very fast. Yes, Pole, just a final thing. I'm left with a minute. In a minute, I'll be starting. Pule, can I get started? Sure, thank you. Thank you, Pule has indicated that we can get started. Good evening, Bazalwane. Good Dr. Tebelele. I'm a medical doctor based in Port Elizabeth. I'm a certified life coach. I am NBA specialist leadership. That's why I get talking. I'm a CEO of Apile Communications. Apile Communications is the vehicle that gets me talking. You can please follow us at Apile Communications on our Facebook page also. And also we are based mostly on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Apile Communications. You simply click the red button which is subscribe, and you can click on the bell there so that every time some of these talks come up there, you are always with us. That is all about me. I'm married with 3 kids, 1 boy and 2 girls. That should be all. I'm a born-again Christian at Rock Ministries in PE. I'm very glad to be here because every time I get an invite from Guilders, I always honor, because Guilders have been part of my path. I grew up in the Methodist Church from as early as Sunday school. That is why I always heed your calls. Thank you very much for the invite again. We're speaking infertility. Sithetha infertility. Yintoni infertility? By definition, infertility kungafumani inzala, that is failure to conceive emva kokuzama inyanga ezi-12 ningasebenzisi izikhuseli okanye izinto zocwangcisa. So infertility refers to inability to conceive after trying for about 12 months without using any form of protection. It means anina explanation into yoba kutheni singade sifumane bantwana. But ke ngoku sijonga kule angle yotata uba zintoni ezibangela, what causes men to fail to actually impregnate or make someone pregnant. That is what is called infertility. Ikakhulu ke ngoku ebangela sigxininise apha kotata, the problem of infertility has been made or interpreted to be an issue of women. But now that we are from school, back from medical school and having practiced medicine for so long, we now know, studies have revealed that a lot of problems zisuka apha kotata. If singenza ibhola sithi 4-4-2, 40% of the problems they come from men, 40% of the problems they come from women, then 20% they come from both. Then those that we cannot explain that can also fall within that 20%. So it means ingxaki yongafumani bantwana can come from either party. Then sijonge ke ngokule angle yotata, which is where i-text yethu is. Otata banako ungafumani bantwana ngezi zizathu zilandelayo. Okokuqala, kusenokwenzeka, in fact masiqale si-understande into yoba kwenzeka njani uze utata aproduce umntana. Kufuneka utata abe kanti uproducer ezinto sithi zii-sperms, spermatozoa, that is the proper name. Kufuneka utata abe kanti uyakwazi ukukhiqiza okanye ukuproducer onojubalala, that is spermatozoa. Baproduce waphi? Ziproducwa apha emajongolweni okanye ematyhalarheni. I-duty yamatyhalarha is to produce sperms and also to produce le ncindi yotata kuthiwa yi-testosterone. So currently we're focusing on i-production okanye ukukhiqiza onojubalala, that is impempe noba ingakanani na, it doesn't matter. Eyona nto siyijongayo xa sithetha ngomcimbi we-fertility okanye umcimbi wenzala, sithetha ngento yoba ingaba amatyhalarha lotata ayakwazi na ukhiqiza imbewu, that is uproducer onojubalala. Into edla ngosiphazamisa ke siyindlu emnyama kukuba sithi ngobona uba ikhona incindi ephumayo xa utata efikelela when the man reaches i-climax, uya-ejaculator, that is ejaculation. Laa nto iphumayo during ejaculation, we call that semen. It's a collection of fluid from a prostate gland plus sperms from the testes. So it's a combination of i-juice esuka kulo madlala onke. Xa sithetha nge-reproduction okanye i-capacity to reproduce, sijonga ke ngento yoba kula semen, is there enough sperms na? Zingaba zikhona izperms ezoneleyo kule semen. Ingxaki yethu ke siyathanda ujonga mhlawumbi phaa kwintloko yecondom okanye mhlawumbi uba umntu ejaculatele ekhonteneni, ujonge laa khontena ubone izperms zakho okanye isemen lingathi sisidudu, ucinga hayi ungakwazi ukwenza abantwana. Awukwazi ukubona, you cannot see with your naked eye into yoba there is sperms within that semen. It's only through a microscope. So masingarobhani okanye sizame upavele ego zethu sithi hayi ndiyakwazi ukwenza abantwana ngojonga nje intloko yecondom ubonto, okanye ubone into yoba ingathi le semen ngamanzi ucinge into yoba ukwazi uproduce abantwana. Iyakwazi isemen into yoba ikhangeleka ingathi ngamanzi, but xa selujonga kanti kunyakazela inyakanyaka yonojubalala. Xa ujonga isikelo ke, ngabantu bamasikelo, xa ujonga isikelo, izperms efuneka zibe kwintloko ye-teaspoon, that is kwi-ml. If uthatha isemen uyibeke kwintloko ye-teaspoon, kufuneka kwi-ml yesemen ube kanti unabo onojubalala abayileyo phaya kwi-15 million. 15 million spermatozoa per ml. Then we know into yoba you are able to at least make someone pregnant. Naleyo into ngumlinganiselo othotyiweyo ngumbutho wezizwe wempilo wehlabathi. Yayikade sisithi 20 million for a man to be able to make someone pregnant. But ngenxa yoba ngoku kuya kukhona ngokufeda kwaqapheleka uba izitadies ezininzi ziyabonakala sithi ootata bayakwazi uproduce abantwana beproducer only 15 million sperms per ml. Xa ngabe uproducer izperms ezingaphantsi kwala 15, sijonge mhlawumbi sithi ziphaya ku-10. Xa ziphaya ku-10 million per ml, sithi unalento sithi oligospermia, okanye ngamagama avakalayo unalento sithi yi-low sperm count. yenye izinto ezithanda uba ngumcela umngeni, yenye izinto ezixhaphakileyo. Ufumanisa uba isemen inogcwalisa nekomityi, but xa ujonga the actual sperms okanye spermatozoa there zimbalwa kakhulu, azidlulanga ku-10 million. Unale nto sithi yi-oligospermia, uproducer izperms ezimbalwa. Ngabantu abangootata ke abo. Ndizawuza into yoba zilungiseka kanjani izinto. Then uphinde uqaphele into yoba bakhona abantu abangootata who can actually have a condition called azoospermia. I-azoospermia kuba umuntu ongutata angakwazi altogether uproducer izperms, even though amatyhalarha ekhona kuthi kanti awaproduce even a single sperm, even though isemen ikhona, uyayikhupha into, uyayijaculate, but kula ejaculate ufumanisa uba there's not even a single sperm. Loo ngxaki ke it can happen if amatyhalarha ngokwendalo awaziproduce izperms ngokwe-conditions ezithile, like i-condition esithi Klinefelter syndrome ebangela into yoba amatyhalarha abe kanti awakho kwisimo sento yoba angaproducer izperms. Okanye kuthi kanti lo tata uyayiproducer, does produce spermatozoa, but on the way zidivertheke endleleni ziyoxubana nomchamo. Le nto sithi yi-retrograde ejaculation. Laa mibhobho ihambisa izperms ihambe iyoyimiksanisa nomchamo. Then xa unohluza umchamo uzawufumanisa uba umchamo unazo izperms but zijika endleleni, like kwi-conditions ezenza ii-muscles ezibeyekeyeke okanye ii-complications zeswekile ziyayenza loo ngxaki. Ziingxaki zonojubalala ezinokwenzeka kubantu abangootata. Endifuna into yoba siziqaphele, siyazi into yoba majority of problems, about 51% of the problems ongafumani bantwana ndlu emnyama zivela kwalapha kuthi singootata. So most of the time akho point into yoba ibe ngumama okanye usisi yedwa ojikeleza efuna isolution yento yoba makubekho abantwana. Kufanele ibe luxanduva lwethu sobabini, and kulula utshekitsha abantu abangoobhoti because sixilonga amatyhalarha la, sijonge isize. Amatyhalarha awalingani natural. Testes are not equal in size. Likhona engathi lincinci kunelinye, bekhona engathi lingezantsanyana kunelinye, that is elinye lingaphezulu, that is natural. Then sijonge i-consistency xa uwacofa atamtam, then uve into yoba i-content usenobakho akhona amatyhalarha but angathi azizipondje xa uweva kakuhle imaterial ephangaphakathi ayikho semgangathweni. Then unoqonda ke ngento yoba ikhona ingxaki kula matyhalarha. Then xa ujonga ke ngoku nasegazini unako ujonga laa ncindi kuthiwa yi-testosterone. Kukho into ekuthiwa yi-hypogonadism. Ufumanisa lo bhuti akaproduce kwa testosterone yaneleyo. Is not only sperms, because izperms zisuka ematyhalarheni ne-testosterone isuka ematyhalarheni. So failure to produce i-testosterone ufumanisa ngoku ne-hypogonadism. Isenokwenziwa into yoba isuka kwi-control engqondweni, ayingqondo ayiwaxhokonxe kakuhle amatyhalarha la ngalaa ncindi kuthiwa yi-follicle stimulating hormone okanye i-luteinizing hormone, okanye ingxaki phaa ezantsi ematyhalarheni. Ingxaki ke zithanda uxhaphaka nefuna sizihoye nendifuna sibethe ualert kuzo, kukwi-condition exhaphakileyo esithi cryptorchidism okanye undescended testes, ukungehli kwamatyhalarha kwezijongwana sencinci abantwana besebancinci. Yiyo le nto sikhuthaza abantu abangootata, we encourage men to examine boy children. Take time to examine your boy child. Ujonge into yoba iscrotum sinayo na la magaqa amabini, kusenoba likhona elinye alikho, kusenoba awekho omabini. The sooner you recognize that problem the better, so that sizobathumela kwi-urologist azokwazi uthotywa amatyhalarha, because amatyhalarha put kulaa ndawo abekwe kuyo, abekwe kwesaa singxobo kuthiwa siscrotum ngaphandle emzimbeni ngabom, because the process of producing sperms is very sensitive to temperature. I-spermatogenesis sifuna iqondo lobushushu sibe phaya around 34. So uba ke ngoku amatyhalarha wehlanga mhlambi ngoba ngokwendalo asuka kule ndawo kusuka ngakuyo izintso, ehle ke ngoyawuhlala nobhabha endleleni. So important to recognize them in good time, so that lo mntana azokorekishwa athotywe kwangexesha, noba linye lingehlanga okanye awehlanga omabini. Nantso ingxaki exhaphakileyo nendifuna siyiqwalasele. Then kube khona umenzakalo othanda ukwenzeka kwezijongwana xa zilapha ko-13-14 okanye abantu abadala umenzakalo ekuthiwa yi-torsion of the testes. Sijonga infertility problems ezinovela kotata. Unako uluza ijongolo eli-1 kuba livele lajijeka apha kulo. Xa unejongolo eli-1, ityhalarha eli-1, unako ukwenza, you can be able to produce a kid with one testis as long as it is healthy. You can be able to produce kids with one testis as long as healthy and healthy through what you eat and through doing checkups. So kubo bonke, everyone who has actually got an injury or managed or got an accident that actually hit one of the testes or both, kubalekile into yoba enze i-checkup, do checkup, and you cannot tell by looking with your eyes into yoba you can be able to produce kids or not. That is what we're trying to destroy. Science is about facts. We need to establish through examination, we need to establish through tests, and which is why most women have been abused, most women have been troubled, most women have been blamed for not producing kids, only to find out the problem is with the men, because men have been cultured and have been made to believe that everything is fine. That is not the case. 51% of the problems of infertility, they come from men, which is why we are here to make sure that we recognize the problems and we address them. Still looking at the sperms, it's not only the question of sperm count, we also look at what is called morphology. Morphology refers to the form of sperms. How do your sperms look under the microscope? Once again, let me repeat, you cannot be able to look into the semen with your eyes and see the sperms. No ways. You cannot. Irrespective, even if you can have so many degrees, you cannot see spermatozoa with your naked eye. You need a microscope. Let us move away from that. Morphology, you can have sperms that are abnormal. They can have two heads, they can be big-headed, they can have no tails, all sorts of problems that can happen to sperms. And then it means those sperms will just make up the numbers. Once this man has got a normal sperm count is over 15 million per mil, but the bulk of the sperms are not normal. So they cannot be able to hit the egg as you would expect because the head is abnormal. The head of the sperm is oval. It's more like a bullet, so that when it hits the egg, it's able to craft and actually go in. But if the head is abnormal in Ngunduva or Ibtundu, then it won't be able to do the job. If they do not have tail, then it brings us to another problem which we'll call motility. We check sperm motility. Are the sperms able to move? Ability of the sperms to move. If you've got the sperm count 15 million, we expect 40% of those sperms to be able to move. And not only to move in one place, but to be able to move progressively. We call that progressive forward movement of the sperms. They must be able to move because they are chasing the egg. They get into ikusheshe. From ikusheshe, they must rush to the tubes to meet the egg. So they must be well fed. They must be having good tails. Imisila funeka ipichoze so that they can rush to the egg. That is called sperm motility. So if your sperms are normal in number but are not moving in the good direction, then you can still fail to make someone pregnant or take time and a little bit of patience to be able to render someone pregnant. So motility is very important. Quickly, on the issue of motility, people who smoke and people who drink alcohol, studies have shown that once they quit drinking and smoking for 3 months, there is an immediate improvement in sperm motility. Sperm motility improves once you quit smoking and once you quit drinking. So if you are struggling to get a kid or to make someone pregnant, stop drinking, stop smoking. That will improve sperm motility. And then make sure that you wear loose clothing. Unganxibi underwear that is going to be very close or tight to your body, because you know that the scrotum should be able to move freely away from your body when it is hot and closer to your body when it is cold. The movement, freedom of movement of the testes should be allowed. Don't wear tight clothing if you are struggling to actually get someone pregnant. That is very, very important. Then another issue that we check is the issue of pH. pH means is the environment acidic or alkaline. That is the semen. That is also checked. And then is the presence of sugar. The sugar that is present is semen. People who've tasted semen, they can tell you that is quite tasty. It's got a little bit of sugar. It's got fructose. And it's a bit salty also. I don't know if people have tasted it, but if you take time to taste it, you'll find that it's got some fruit, because the spermatozoa are fed on the road. The soldiers must be fed on the road. So what you eat is actually going to help them actually be able to move, because they've got a small engine. They've got a small engine within themselves that is able to propel them. So we must keep them fed. I've done motility, I've done sperm count, I've done morphology. Those are the key things that people need to understand, that sperm abnormalities are key problems. Most men that are unable to make a woman pregnant have got sperm issues or sperm problems. I've addressed the issue of one ball, and the issue of the penis. The penis size has got nothing to do with the ability to make someone pregnant. You can make someone pregnant even 1 centimeter of a penis, as long as it is able to convey. The duty of the penis is to act as a conduit. It conveys sperm from the man across the bridge to the woman. As long as the penis it is able to stand and do that job, then it can do it successfully, irrespective of the size. There's also a difference between sex for reproduction and sex for pleasure. So it means you need to time. Timing is very important, gentlemen. Timing is very important. You need to know very well. Ubale together with your wife or woman. Cycle. You must know day 1 of menstruation. That is where you start counting. You must know day 12. Day 12 to day 16, that is when the woman is likely to produce the egg, to actually ovulate, to release the egg, so that the egg will actually start coming across the tubes. Then the sperms must actually be waiting for the egg. So timing is very important when you talk pregnancy. So importantly, let me emphasize again, for pregnancy we focus mostly on the size of the balls, the quality of the balls, the size and consistency, because kids are made in the balls. The size of the penis duty is just to convey sperms across. I know men are so concerned about the issue of penis size. It has got nothing to do with pregnancy. That is why I emphasize it very well, because people are moving all around the country, north, west, south, and so on. They are looking for products for penis enlargement, which they are not going to get, because God has given you that size of penis, and it will remain like that. You will die it being that size. Take it from me. I think I've covered most of. There are syndromes. I think I mentioned the Klinefelter syndrome. We do check bloods, of course. I mentioned that to see luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, testosterone, and so on men. But mainly it's physical examination, and we send men for a test. Sperms, semen. We send men to the lab. They go and masturbate into a clean bottle, a clean lab bottle, without assistance of anyone, so that we can be able to analyze sperms. That is an easy checkup. It's easy to wake up or to check a man for fertility issues than it is to do with a woman. That is why we encourage Ndoba Umdu, when they go to a fertility center or to a doctor or to a clinic for fertility problems, they must go together. We usually start with the men, noting that the majority of problems are with men. Then coming to what should we do? We need to live a healthy life, gentlemen. We need to watch what we eat. If you look in the studies done in the 1970s and compared the comparison of those generations and men of today, there is clear evidence that we are failing to reproduce compared to the generations that came before us. Uya kufedakala with the current generation. It's becoming more and more difficult for men to reproduce in this century compared to the other centuries. So we need to watch what we eat. The problem is that we are eating processed food. We are eating processed food. We are lazy. We are moving from one car to another, and most people find it difficult to exercise. So I need to encourage the black nation and everyone who happens to be watching that we need not be lazy men. Uqala kubefundisi ukuhla ngokwezihlalo uyotsho ezantsi cela abantu bayazi toba it should be part of our routine to exercise. It should be part of our sermons and preaching to talk healthy eating. I know that stable food is made up of starch mostly, which is the white food, rice, umngqusho, umpokoko, amarhewu, and so on. But we need to minimize taking those things and make sure that we eat more veggies and we eat more seafood. Diet and exercise is very important. I cannot emphasize it further. And then the most developer in there, the more big tummies we develop, the more we're becoming weaker and weaker. The more big tummies we have, that is a sign of what is called central. It is an enemy to all men. It is an enemy of all men, and it creates more problems. It creates a steep slope for us to reproduce. The bigger the tummy, the lazier you become. The bigger the tummy, the more testosterone we are shedding. The bigger the tummy, the more you are likely to develop diabetes. The bigger the tummy, the more likely you are going to develop hyperinsulinemia. And the higher the insulin, the more you are going to struggle to even have that hashtag 5 centimeter to stand up. It won't be able to erect because it's short of testosterone. Very, very important, gentlemen, because these days we are living on singles. Whether we like to face it or not, reality is that a lot of men are only able to produce singles. And even those singles, they are not quality singles. And we need to change our lifestyle by eating healthy, getting more to the road. You don't need to subscribe to any gym activity. All you need is a skipping rope or running around just for 30 minutes 3 times a week. We need a generation of men that are healthy. We need a generation of men noting the studies that are showing very clearly that we are becoming lazier and lazier, and it's becoming tougher for us to produce in this generation. We need to change the way we are doing things. Otherwise, soon we are going to see less and less of us. Then I think, Pule, I should be taking questions now. I should be taking questions. Anything that I can clear on fertility in men? Fertility in men, I'm trying to check if I've got any questions. You can write your question on the screen. There's someone who's assisting me to take all the questions. Then I'll be able to answer your questions. Thank you, Sipe. We'll meet tomorrow. Every Wednesday, 11:15. I'm at Umhlobo Wenene. Thank you. We'll meet there, 11:15. Umhlobo Wenene. That is where we will be with sisters. Then every Thursday, I'm at Mpuma Kappa TV, 21 hours, 9 o'clock every Thursday, I'm at Mpuma Kappa TV. Then every Tuesday, I'm at True FM. Every Tuesday at 10 minutes past 10, I'm at True FM. I always put those things on all my pages. If you can just click your finger and move with notifications, then you get all the whereabouts. I'm trying to check if we've got any question. Okay, sure. There's a question. Is there a way men or women can increase their chances of conceiving twins with no family history of having twins? That's a nice question. The ability to produce twins is actually an accident. Ability to produce twins is an accident. That accident is highly likely if your mother is a twin. Maternal, if your mother is a twin, you stand higher chances of actually having the accident of producing twins. Otherwise, let me start with non-identical twins. Produce non-identical twins, it means there's an accident that happened. It means the woman produced 2 eggs and also 2 pregnancies happened at the same time. That is, there's a sperm that got into one egg and there's another sperm that got into the other egg. So it's 2 pregnancies that happened at the same time. Hence, you'll find that non-identical twins are non-identical. It's usually a boy and a girl. And even if you look them at the, they are not as identical as you would find with the identical twins. Identical twins share almost everything. If you can pair their genes, they are the same because they are a product of the same sperm. So it means it's one sperm that got into one egg, and then fortunately that egg split after fertilization. Then that is how identical twins come about. You cannot create that, it's an accident. Then people who go for what is called in vitro fertilization or provocation, that is, they are struggling to conceive, then they get provoked with pills. There are pills that are used to actually challenge the ovaries to produce more eggs. Then there can be an accident of producing twins through provocation, but it's not guaranteed, but it can happen. But most of the time, people can produce twins through in vitro fertilization because kuplandwa more than one embryo there. So the chances of producing twins are higher. For that question. Then, how easy is it to get your semen analyzed in public sector? Thank you for asking that question, viewer. It's easy to get your semen analyzed even in public sector. It's not only a private matter. Semen analysis can be done in public hospitals. For example, where I am in Port Elizabeth, it can be done at Dorangin's Hospital, it can be done at the provincial, even where you are, in Joburg, in Limpopo, any public hospital can be able to do a semen analysis as long as you've raised the problem of infertility. So it can be done. The third question, does the sperm quality deteriorate with age, or do chances of impregnating to produce kids with deformities as you grow older? The quality is not the same. If you take a young man of 25 years of age and an old man, the quality of semen of the old man is very poor compared to the young man. Even though they can make someone pregnant, the quality is definitely poor. So age is a matter. Age peak of a man is around age 25. So 25 to 30 is a good age to get married and actually to think of having kids. Those are the questions I've picked so far from Pule. Any other questions? We're talking issues and challenges, and we now know that 51% of the problems, they come from men. So it's not a woman problem, it is collective effort. We all need to work together and pay attention, even more attention, to men's health. Pay more attention to men's health and make sure that the scrotum is healthy, the balls are healthy, impembe of 5 centimeters wako is ironed and healthy. There's another question. Thank you, Paula, for your diligence. Is there a good way to safely before home insemination? Let me just touch on that because that will be one of my major themes for. if you are going to do insemination, is there a good way to store sperm safely before home insemination? The sooner you use sperms must be kept at body temperature. For example, if you are going to do semen analysis, we encourage you that you must go to the lab so that your sperms can be analyzed within 45 minutes to an hour. They must be analyzed as quickly as possible. If you are going to do artificial insemination, the fresher the sperms, the better. The safest way of keeping them, if you are producing them at home and the lab is within 30 minutes of your reach, you can keep them under your armpit and then rush to the lab to deposit the bottle. That is if you've produced them at home. That is, you are given the clean specimen bottle so that you produce the sperms at home for analysis. Then you can to the uterus. So that is done under strict guidance because the sperms must be healthy and fresh. It's always better to consult professionals. don't try to do. You can do what is called self-insemination. You can do attempts. But it's always better to consult a professional or someone who has got some training in this thing so that you get proper guidance as to how to do it. Artificial insemination is done under professional guidance, but self-insemination is done anyway. That is, there are people who do not want penetration. For example, lesbians. They don't want penetration, but they want kids. They can do what is called self-insemination, but preferably people should go for checkup. Now the next question is Dr. Lomcimbi womhluzi uselwa ngabakhuluwa kuba benenjongo zomethisa uyabanceda. The question is quite simple. It says the people who drink gravy from meat, be it chicken, be it mutton, be it fish, be it umvundla, this thing of drinking umhluzi, is there any credence in or any sense in it that people are going more? There is sense in that. There is a lot of sense in that because sperms are made from cholesterol. Those ingredients are very good for, and there's especially in red meat, they are very good for problem of oligospermia. So that is why I always applaud our forefathers, even though they didn't have science or any knowledge as to why they were prohibiting us as young boys from drinking umhluzi, but they could see that after giving a lot of young men umhluzi, then there's a lot of pregnancies that are going to come up. But our duty now, which is why we were sent to school, was to be able to explain to them why do these men, after... I'm sorry, I've lost a bit of you there, but I'm back. So there's a lot of sense in drinking umhluzi because of the key nutrients that you get from the cholesterol, zinc, and protein. Thank you so much. Any further question? Oh, there's another question. The next question is, does putting ice or always keep some machala and help with keeping semen healthy? This thing of putting ice on the scrotum, it can make the testes run away to the abdomen. Ice is very cold. Ice is very cold. You remember, the scrotum, I mean, for spermatogenesis to work properly, the temperature should be around 34 degrees. So if you talk ice, you are talking a temperature that is far below that. In those cases, what is going to happen? Scrotum, then the testes will start running away. They will run to the abdomen where it will be actually warmer. So do not put ice on the scrotum with an attempt of cooling them down. No, this is a natural thing. What you need to do is to wear boxer shorts so that the movement is natural and free. So if you look at soccer players or even any other players who pour water into the scrotum and whatever, that is not for reproduction but for other purposes. So don't put ice when you are going to sleep. In those what you are going to get is the penis will actually shrink and not be able to stand up or penetrate. You are going to create more problems because once the penis gets cold, I don't know, I keep getting a message that due to poor wireless connection, but I think I've covered most of the questions, but I'm taking them slowly but surely. I hope this devil of disconnecting and connecting will actually run away. But I've addressed the question of ice. No ice there. Stop putting ice on your scrotum or on your testes. Otherwise, it will kill the erection and it will actually defeat the purpose of fertility. Noting that temperature, temperature is very important around there. 7, is it possible to have a fertility and semen check as a routine check at a public private facility without noting any issues or having intentions to conceive? Yes, men can do that. Men can do that, but we rarely recommend it. I mean, to just go as if you are going to check blood pressure or sugar, cholesterol and so on. We don't do that in fertility, but you can. It's something that you can do. We usually raise eyebrows or start panicking once you spend 6 months of doing unprotected sex without any use of contraceptives. Then you are failing to make someone pregnant. 6 months if you are more than 35 years, or 12 months if you are less than 35 years, then we can start panicking. Otherwise, generally, it's not a routine checkup that we do. We only do that once you raise into you've been struggling. But you can, to answer you. The question number 8, what is the best sex position to conceive? All positions you can conceive. All positions are best positions to conceive. This thing of putting people against the wall, leakage out of the vagina. It's not sperms that are coming out mostly. It's just the vehicle that was accompanying the sperm. So people should not panic. I'm not going to stand up. They spend an hour lying there flat because they are scared that they are going to lose everything that was that actually went in. No ways. Position, sex positions, you can actually get pregnant in any sex position. Even on your feet, even on your knees, even on the missionary position. Irrespective of the position, you can be pregnant. What is important is timing and health. You must be healthy, and also ovulation. It must coincide with ovulation. Position doesn't matter. I think I've addressed the question number 8, and then question number 9. What effects does supplements and testo tablets have on fertility of a man? I've touched on protein. Protein is very important because it contains amino acids. Just like I mentioned cholesterol. Clear on this. Thank you for the question. If you inject testosterone, the duty of testes is to produce testosterone. So once you induce or you inject testosterone, the testosterone in your blood will be too much. Then your body will start sending a signal to the brain. We call that negative feedback, that there is enough testosterone in the blood. So your brain, which is producing luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, must stop provoking your testes to produce more testosterone, because to reproduce, because you are the cause of the problem, because you got testosterone from outside. It's like a muscle. If you are not using your muscle to lift, then it atrophies, it becomes smaller and lazy. The same thing will happen to the testes. You can take supplements, but make sure you consult as to the nature of the supplement that you are taking. It should not actually defeat the purpose of being fertile. Thank you. So whatever tablet you are taking, whatever supplement you are taking, make sure that you do not abuse steroids. Testosterone, we do give people testosterone, but it's given under strict guidance by someone who is trained on how to replace testosterone and under what circumstances, and you need to have your blood checked, because testosterone can make your blood thick. But once you get testosterone too much in blood, it makes your testes lazy. And then once the testes are lazy, that means they do not produce enough sperms. You are going to have azoospermia, you are going to have oligospermia, and then you are going to blame your woman that is not able to conceive, yet you are the one who is creating problems. So supplements can be dangerous. Hence you need consultation. Be it a pharmacist, be it a doctor, always ask. Any further questions? I think if the men were listening, or whoever is listening on behalf of a man, if you can convey this message very, very clearly, starting with the head, the leaders of the church, if they catch this message and make sure that they integrate it within our sermons, within our preaching, then we can produce a healthy generation of men. Leadership is by actually doing what we want people to do. If we can get all the reverends who are watching to do their checkups, to eat healthy, to exercise, and to talk about these things, examination of testes to make sure that there are no lumps, people are not wearing very tight things and struggling to conceive, because we have learned our lessons. We know what we need to do to reproduce and to keep in shape. Thank you so much. Any other questions, Puleng? I think I've covered most of the ones you've actually shared with me. Any further questions? I think we've managed to address most of the questions. That's the end of the questions. Let me take this opportunity to thank everyone, the Wesley Guild South Africa, for honoring me with the invite on behalf of Apile Communications. We are very grateful and thankful to the young minds and the young hearts for keep on inviting us, and also the difference you are making in the health of the country, because some of the things we're addressing, they actually go a long way. There are a lot of people who die without having kids out of actually spending a lot of time not going to the right doors. But by sharing these lectures, by sharing this information, by educating this country, by keep on inviting us, you are actually becoming a solution to what was needed in South Africa. And may you continue doing the good job. Thank you, and thank you, and thank you. You can always follow Apile Communications on YouTube by clicking Apile Communications and then subscribe. We're always there. And also our page is Apile Communications. Don't forget to always listen to Mhlobo Wenene. Ube Wempembe will always be there. Don't forget to follow us on Head to Toe with Dr. Tebelele, channel 260 DSTV every Thursday through FM